G'day adventurers, Ben from Snowy's here today, showing you the difference between Cedar Summit's new lightweight hike tents and their Bikepack specific lightweight tents.
Hit it.
Cedar Summit's Bikepack specific lightweight tents come with a 30cm pole length, heavy duty roll top dry bags and Stretch-Loc TPU straps so that you can strap it on your gravel bike for all your bikepack adventures. Before we dive into this product, there is loads more content like this on our YouTube channel, so make sure you like and subscribe and you'll get notified of all of our latest content. Now let's jump in. So what I've got here are two versions of the same tent. Cedar Summit have basically got two types of tents and they each come in different versions. This is the Telos TR2 and the Telos TR2 Bikepack. Now the Bikepack version only comes in the mesh inner version of this tent, but it comes with different packaging and a shorter pole length than their regular hike version of this to make it specific for bikepack adventures. If you want to see how to set this up, and a walkthrough of all the features is exactly the same as the video we've got on our the hiking version of this tent, what I'm showing you today are the bikepack specific differences between the two tents. Now first of all, you'll notice despite it being the same tent, the pack size is obviously different. This is largely because of the pole section. The poles are in this section of this tent here, and they're quite longer, but in the Bikepack version, they made a shorter pole length. The poles are inside this bag here, and that makes this pack length around about 30 centimeters. Weight's also a little bit different. The Bikepack version weighs a little bit more. For trail weight, which is just the fly, the inner, and the poles, it's about 25 grams more for the Bikepack version, but packed as it is at the moment, this weighs a little bit over 250 grams more than this guy here. So you can still use this for hiking. It's a really versatile bag, whether you want to take it hiking, bikepacking, or even just general camping. This guy gives you so many different options. If you're not a bike packer, then you can just go for this one and that's going to pack in your pack really easily. Now I'm going to pull it apart, lay it out on the wall here and show you what comes in each bag, because essentially you get the same features. So this tent comes all strapped together like this, but when you actually use it on the trail, you'll use it differently. So you get these 4 TPU Stretch-Loc straps that I will remove completely, and we'll show you how these work on the bike shortly. But these are actually a separately available item from Cedar Summit. You can use them for all sorts of things, camping, hiking, and four-wheel drive. Does it make more sense? We've got another video on how to use these, but I'll strap this on the fork of my bike behind me shortly to show you how they work. But you get 4 of those, so that when you pull this apart, you get 2 bags. You can use 2 straps on each bag to secure it to your bike. So the hike version of these tents come in 3 neat packages here. We've got the pegs and the fly sheet in this bag here, the inner here, and this is the pole section and the light bar in one here now. And in our Bikepack version of the bag, this is our fly sheet, this is our inner, which is exactly the same as our hiking version here. This is our light bar, it's a little bit different, we'll pull that apart shortly with the poles inside. A little bag with the pegs and the guy ropes in it, which we've got inside one of the stuff sacks for the hike version, our TPU straps and the bags at the back here. Now one difference while I've got the bag in my hand is that when you set the tent up with the hike version, these bags here have got little tabs inside that turn these into actual storage bags once it's inside the tent. You can clip it inside so your stuff sack becomes a useful part of your kit. For the Bikepack version, these can essentially stay on your bike if you like and unpack them, but they don't clip inside the tent as storage, they are just a dry bag. While I've got it in my hand, this is largely the same as what Cedar Summit call their big river dry bags. 420D nylon, ripstop nylon, really heavy duty materials. It's got an event panel in the bottom here. I'll use the one without tags in it. This event panel in the bottom here, that's a waterproof breathable panel so you can squeeze the air out. It's not going to let any water come back in again. And it's got lashing straps all over it. So down the front here, this will make more sense when we strap it on the bike shortly. This is for the TPU strap to go through. You've got straps, lashing straps on the back here, and also a hyperlon panel. This is a really heavy duty, durable hyperlon panel here, because that's the section that will sit against the frame where you mount it. So if any rubbing occurs, it happens on this panel here and not on the actual dry bag. And once all this is packed inside, there's just a heavy duty roll top closure on the top here. So you roll this over 2 or 3 times and you actually clip this downwards. So if you keep going all the way, you can clip this down into, well, it's probably gone too far, clip that down into the side there. So they're then protected as you're riding. There's nothing, there's no loop. If this sit over the top like this, you would then, well actually that doesn't even work anyway, you can't clip it that way, but that would be a loop that could get caught up as you're riding. So really heavy duty dry bags that you can store the tent in. So moving on to the poles and the light bars, if I take the poles out of these bags first, before we talk about the light bars, just to show you the difference in how the poles look. So they're the same structure. When the tent is set up, it looks the same. So it forms the same shape, has all the same hubs, so it sets up in exactly the same way. The difference is that each of the pole sections for the tent is far shorter. We can see that these sections here, if I use this green one here for an example, actually the green one's the same, it's the grey ones that are different. So if I compare this grey section here with this grey section here, we can see that these are only about 30 centimetres, or the whole pole section is about 30 centimetres. So makes that much more packable, or shorter for packing in a bike pack scenario. There's also a difference in the light bars themselves. So these light bars actually fit up inside the tent. Check our other video for how they work, but you throw a head torch in here. You can point it upwards or downwards, whatever you like. It's got a white reflector in there, and the idea is that it gives diffused light inside the tent. Obviously you get a longer one with the hike version, a shorter one with the bike pack version. These attach with the clips on the top here, and the bike pack version has actually got those clips inside. There's a strap in here so you can still attach them the same way you would for the hike version to the top of the tent or inside the Telos or the Alto tent. What I'm going to do now is pack the inner, or I'll pack one of these bags up again. So I'll put the inner back in this bag here, and then I'm going to use the TPU lock straps that come with it to strap it on the fork of my bike behind me here to show you how you can mount it to a fork. It doesn't have to be mounted to a fork. It can be mounted to the seat post. If your seat post is tall enough under your bike seat, wherever you can fit it on your bike. That's why it's got these multiple strap points on here, so you can mount it however best suits you. So let's jump over to the bike and get started on that. So the first thing we want to do to attach this, now I'm going to put it on here, on my fork here. Now you could, I suppose, if I wanted, strap it up underneath here. My seat post, if I removed the other stuff, I could almost put it on the back of my seat post there. That's why you've got all these multiple strap options here. For the fork here at the moment, what I'm going to do is utilize this these lashing points on the front here to stop it sliding up and down, and then rely on the friction that this has against the fork, and rely on these straps to hold on to it. Now these are 625 millimeter straps, or 62 centimeter straps. They're really durable, really stretchy. We've got another video on these to show all sorts of uses that you can have for these. But these are a really reliable way to strap them onto your fork. Now the most important thing to remember is this part here is a strap keeper. You can't rely on that to secure the strap. This is the bit that's got to take all the weight. And what I mean by that is when you put this on your fork, the long length of the strap has to go around the back of what you're strapping your item to. This part here is not the load bearing part, that's simply a strap keeper. And what I mean by strap keeper is that it holds it on the, when you're not using it, so overnight you've unpacked your tent, you can just leave it sitting there. You can actually tighten it. This fork is smallish, but if I tighten it, there we go. So that's now sitting there ready for the next day. I'm not going to lose that. So I'll put the second strap on, and I'm going to put it as far down the fork as I can, so that I'm distributing the weight as best I can. So strap this around the back, and I'm going to pull the strap through so the buckle sits as far as I can close to the fork, which will make it easier to do the bag up, the strap up around the bag. So tighten this one up too, and you can see how these will just sit there quite securely. You're not going to lose them, so that's ready to put the bag straight on the next morning. I'll now grab my bag and hold it just against the fork here. I'm not going to use these at the back here for this instance. It gets a bit sort of too much tension. You can't tighten the strap enough with these. It's probably good if you're strapping it under your seat or for other uses. I'm just going to utilize this one to stop the vertical movement of the bag. So I push this through the front of the bag there, push it through the strap, or sorry, the buckle, and I can now really tighten this down. Don't be scared about these straps, they are really strong. And you can see if you have this strap as far around the back as you can to start with, it gives you a bit of space, but I can really wrench that around and it tightens really easily. They just loop through like that. I can push the loose end of the strap through the keeper there if I like, to stop it from getting in the way, and then the very end of the strap can actually come right around the back here, and we can use the strap keeper just to hold that end of the strap in place as well. It's quite firm, so it's not going to come out while you're riding, so that we haven't got a strap dangling around while we're riding our bike. And do the same thing on the bottom here. I'll pull it around, I'll sort of pick a point here where it loosely lines up, poke it through the keeper there. I'd certainly recommend keeping the buckle as far back as you can, So you can really tighten this up, lock it into place. I could do that up even tighter there. There's room inside this bag for more items if I liked. Now that I've tightened it, I've got quite a bit of extra length at the end here, which I need to be wary of when I put through this keeper, that this doesn't get caught up in my spokes. But I can actually, the other end of this keeper is available for me to tuck the loose end of that strap in there. So if you do tighten it up, you can certainly keep the straps out of your spokes still. Now when you strap it straight onto a fork like this without any bike pack specific features, which my bike here doesn't have, this can pivot. The tighter you do this, the less it pivots, and these straps are actually pretty good at keeping it secure. If I just tap that, what you would get maybe on a just a dirt road or a sealed road or a gravel road, it's not going to be bouncing around as much. If this does get a knock, then it can work its way around. I guess you can see that while you're riding. If that worries you, then you can get basket attachments and things for a fork here. That's not something that we sell, but bike pack specific bikes have that, so that you can then strap this onto that basket to make sure it's secure. So that's the key differences between Cedar Summit's bike pack versions of their lightweight tents and their regular lightweight tents. Apart from what I've showed you, you can get all the same accessories, all the same footprints, gear lofts, and everything that go inside. They have all the same features in terms of their awesome breathability, their awesome internal vertical walls and space inside the tent, and the ease of pitch of all of them. You just get these bike pack specific packing options, which you can also use for hiking. Now I've attached this to one fork here. I could put one on the other side. You can actually strap both of these bags together and put them, say, up on the handlebars here. As if you didn't have all this on here, you could just put one big handlebar mount on there with both bags strapped together. So lots of different packing options. And these TPU straps that come with the Cedar Summit bag, you can buy these separately as well. So add another handful of those to your kit and you've got multiple mounting options for all sorts of products for your bike packing kit. And if you want more bags like this, check out the Cedar Summit Big River dry bags. They're made of a similar or same material and have lashing points like these do on it as well. That's the Bikepacking Telos and Alto ultralight tents from Cedar Summit. Really well considered, well thought out, awesome tents, easy to pitch, easy to use. Check them out online at snowies.com.au where you'll find low prices every day.